There's a very beautiful version of this story told by the traveller storyteller Duncan Williamson. And this is my version, The Happy Man's Shirt. There was once a king who was really gloomy. This king, he had a fine palace to live in, he had enough to eat, fine clothes to wear, but he was still miserable. Nobody could think what to do. The gloom was spreading all over the country like a thick black cloud. They tried everything they could to cheer him up. Comedians, doctors. In the end, they called for the wise woman who lived on top of the mountain. And when at last she came all the way down from the mountain and arrived in the palace, she looked the king up, she looked him down, she said, "What you need is a happy man's shirt." Happy man's shirt. Happy man's shirt. Yes, you need to find a happy man and borrow his shirt. Put it on your own back and wear it yourself. So the king set out of his palace, through his great cities, out through the kingdom, and he asked everyone he met if they were happy. Well, when the people heard the king was asking them questions and listening to the answers, well, everyone was going to tell him their troubles. He asked dressmakers, "Are you happy?" They said, "No, everyone buys their clothes from TK Maxx and then throws them away. No one buys beautifully made stuff." He asked the children if they were happy. And they said, "No, we spend long days studying for stupid exams. We want to be doing things and making things and finding things out." He travelled the length and breadth of his kingdom. He couldn't find anybody who was happy, not a single person. He got holes in his shoes. His clothes got all covered with dust and tattered. In the end, he gave up. He turned his head for home. And as he was trudging along the road, he saw a little thread of smoke coming up from a fire by the side of the road. There was a raggedy old man brewing up tea in a tin can on this little fire. And the old traveller, when he saw the king coming near, he called out, "Well, you look as if you could do with taking the weight off your feet. Come and sit down." So to tell the truth, the king was glad of a rest. So he sat down with the traveller and drank his bitter black tea from a tin can. And they began chatting about this and that. And then the traveller said, "So what brings you along this road?" And the king said, "Well, I'm the king." And the traveller began to laugh. "What's so funny?" said the king. "Well, you must admit, it is a bit funny. Look at you, with mud all over your clothes and holes in your shoes. You say you're the king?" And the king looked down at his warm clothes and began to see the funny side. He gave a little bit of smile, and then he was laughing. And pretty soon he and the traveller were chatting away and telling jokes and laughing, and suddenly the king thought of something. "Are you happy?" he said to the traveller. The traveller said, "Well, of course I'm happy. No roof over my head, no boss, no landlord, no job to do. I can go where I please, do what I like. Why wouldn't I be happy?" The king said, "But I've been looking for you all this time." And he laughed louder than ever. He said, "Can I have your shirt?" Well, if the traveller had been laughing before, now he laughed and laughed and laughed. He undid the bit of string that was tying up his raggedy old coat, and as he pulled the coat open, the king could see underneath bare skin. The happy man had no shirt at all. And so, when the king came back to his palace, the traveller was by his side. And from that day on, if the king felt even a little bit gloomy, all he had to do was look across at the happy man, and he'd be